Hello everybody, this is the Cannon Fanatic bringing you another deck profile. This time my inspiration came from a friend. We were dueling online, or we were dueling in person, my bad. And he had a deck where the only extra deck card he had was a Dark Paladin. And I was like, I'm sure there's a way that you can make a deck that gets Dark Paladin out reasonably well. Did a little bit of work, went online for a little bit of inspiration, tweaked a little bit of things that I saw, came up with this, boom pow, Dark Paladin deck. Um, Other ideas were stolen from other people. I'll give credit where credit is due, but this is basically what I would do. The entire deck is to get this guy out. If you get that out, doesn't matter if you actually win or lose the round, you've won on sheer awesome alone. So here we go. Dark Paladin is Dark Magician and Buster Blader, so you got to figure out some way to get a deck that makes those two show up. Dark Magician is clearly the superior option here because there's a lot of new spellcaster support, aka prophecy and spellbook cards. So there we go. Double Dark Magician has to be the Shonen Jump promo. If it's not Shonen Jump there, and you make the deck, there is a 98% chance that it could explode upon the first time using it in duel. So please do not risk this. Please think of the children. Explosions are bad and painful, so always use the Shonen Jump promo. 2 Dark Magician. 2 Debris Dragon helps you get out your King of the Swamp, which I'll go over in a second. Can also get out Spellbook Magician if you really need some work, I guess. If you really need a synchro, I don't know. Could get out Effect Failure. I don't know. It's Debris Dragon. You're running a deck where you have some weak monsters and you have certain things you need on the field or in your hand. So Debris Dragon is just a really good way of getting those things where you need them. Effect Failure, because it's Effect Failure. Honestly, any deck that has a focus on spellcasters should have at least one Baylor. Just there's no denying that. Tuner, it's great. 2 Prisma. There's a way of getting Dark Magician out of your deck, which is great. The worst place for Dark Magician is your deck. The graveyard is probably the second best in this aspect. The best would be in your hands. If you can manage to get one on the field, it's great. But you definitely don't want it in the deck, and this is one of the ways to do it. You can also act as a Dark Magician for that turn, so not only does it get it out of your deck, it basically acts as one on the field. So it's a twofer in that sense. It's a really good. Plus, you can search it with Rhoda if you wanted to make a more warrior variant of it where you ran Buster Blader instead of Dark Magician. Then High Priestess of Prophecy. If you're running spellbooks, you should probably run a High Priestess, especially because it's 7-star. It gives you some oomph that the deck needs. And to help get her out, you have 2 Justice. Can also help you get Dark Magician out of your deck if you really just don't want to draw into that, because it's really the worst thing. Dark Magician is there to be in the deck so you can utilize it, the fact that he's there. He's not to be drawn, so Justice helps you get around that and also helps you get High Priestess in there and gets you a book, which is really important. So next to King of the Swamp, you're running Polymerization. He helps get that out of the deck because it's another card you don't really want to draw. It's better than drawing Dark Magician for sure, but still not something you actually want to draw. And also he can act as the Buster Blader, so really good thing. Next, Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. He corrects bad hands. That is his entire purpose in all Prophecy builds, and he does it amazingly well, and all Prophecy Fusion builds for that matter. If you're running a Prophecy or a Prophecy Fusion deck, you should always run at least one. When you're running one that can be as dead as this one with 2 Dark Magician, 2 King of the Swamp, 2 Polymerization, you definitely want to run 2 of him. It's just a good idea. Basically, for all the probability of bad hands, having him just makes them less suckage. You can end up with a outcome that's not horrible, not like the hands that you could have without him. So always run him. Running 2 in this deck. Summoner Monk, very good in this deck. Helps you mitigate some dead hands. Helps get Prisma out faster. Helps get Debris Dragon out faster. And from those 2, you can get a lot of work actually done. So it's nice to have run 2 because you really want to draw into that pretty much as soon as you can, if you can't draw into Prisma or the Debris Dragon themselves. So that's it for the monster lineup. 17 monsters, pretty easy. As for spells, Dark Hole, Heavy Monster Reborn, because they're allowed to be in the game. 2 Magical Dimensions, really helps you get out your power cards and can get rid of some cards that would be sitting ducks on your field, and can also get rid of something on your opponent's side, which is always a nice little throw-in, although it's not really necessary. Magical Dimension is probably the best way of dealing with the Dark Magician in hand, honestly, other than just polying him out. But this way, at least you're getting some destruction done before you poly. 2 MST, because back row kills this. 2 polymerization, because you are trying to make Dark Paladin. 1 life, 2 power, 3 secret, 2 wisdom. And the tower. Pretty much all of this is relatively self-explanatory. Swirlock of Life is another way to really get out your Dark Magician if they're both in the grave. It's taken over whatever that trap is that you remove 2 counters to summon a Dark Magician from your grave, because there aren't new ways of getting counters in this. So this is the next best thing. I have considered taking out, I don't know, something, putting in a second life, but that'll just depend on further testing on the deck. But yeah, pretty much self-explanatory. Life is a really good way of fixing things if you make a mistake. And as for traps, 2 bottomless, a Dark Bribe, and 2 Fiendish Chain. No side because I haven't made a real life. Extra deck, whatever Dark Paladin you like. I just put all 3. Why not? Idea taken from someone on Pojo is to put in your elemental heroes in this. So if you ever get just a really bad hand, and there's no way of fixing it, even Batel can't help you, I mean Spellbook Magician, you can go ahead and fuse together your Prisma, if you happen to have that in hand, with something else in the deck. So that's actually pretty good. I like the idea of both of them, although Absolute Zero is amazing in this. And if you were to actually make this deck, I would definitely recommend siding in maybe a Miracle Fusion, just so make Ab Zero. It's great. But anyway, that's the deck. I'm going to do some more testing with it, and I'll get back with maybe an updated version of it. We'll see how it goes. Until then, this is the Cannon Fanatic, signing out.